Thank you to Liquid IV for sponsoring this video. More on them in just a bit. Marketing fans of the Reject Nation, the boys are back in town for another trio of trailers. It's a trailer react-a-thon today. We're going to watch Peacemaker Season 2, The Conjuring 4, and The Long Walk. There will be time stamps down below in case you want to skip around and see the one you're most interested in right up top. Gang, are we ready to do this thing? I think we are. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more trailers, and let's do this!
They're gonna be doing backflips to get you to John.
Oh, I'm so excited to see us back.
Welcome, Peacemaker, or do you prefer Chris?
Hey,
Oh, Lord.
Can you tell us a little about your skills?
Sky Gardner.
World.
The mic is off.
Yeah.
I am also proficient in hand-to-hand combat.
How many more of these do we have today?
Is that popcorn still here?
A hot girl.
Hey.
Oh, my God.
Lord.
My bus is getting really big lately, so.
I have a variety of helmets.
This guy sucks.
Excuse me. Am I supposed to be able to hear you guys?
Excuse me?
You were talking about your butt and stuff. And also, you said that I suck.
Oh, wow. Our first real tease into the universe.
God, her star is on the rise.
Sky Gardner.
I don't get it. We saved the world.
I thought everyone finally treat us like heroes.
I don't
Vigilante.
need anybody else to just forge my own path.
You're living in the worst level of Grand Theft Auto.
GTA
I've
6?
come to the conclusion you suffer from a particularly severe form of toxic masculinity.
Oh, no. That's funny.
That's great.
Monitoring Peacemaker ever since
Argus.
Red Flag Senior was named director.
There he is.
This time, media.
Bring me Peacemaker.
Mexicali, you scan for any
What? The Meadows?
Pony boy. Don't let him out of your sight. Titties, I want you to take the front door. Encino man, you take the back door. Got it?
Yeah, but not the fucking names, dude. You can't just call us that.
Where do you think we are? Fucking Berkeley?
Great.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Let's
been
go.
always been great people. But we are the 11th Street Kids. No one will ever break us apart.
Hey.
Coronas.
Wow, what an
man,
epic
whoa.
intro.
Damn.
Rick Flag dyed his hair.
What's that a billboard for?
Ready for the next adventure, pal?
Yeah. It looked like they were taking over his dad's, yeah.
Yeah, the lair. Whoa, cool. Alternate universe.
Who the fuck are you?
What?
The door to the multiverse! Door to the multiverse!
Ooh, damn.
Interesting.
Oh, fun.
shit.
All right, boys, we're getting a little side door into the DCU there at the very end by the looks of this thing. Aaron, what did you think of that trailer?
I thought it was great. It looks like a lot of fun. I like that we are putting Peacemaker in the context of this new universe, making him the underdog as well as the rest of the team. And it looks like at the end there, that's potentially a door for them to justify how this is in the DCU as opposed to the DCEU, because, okay, we're in this place where there's the multiverse exists, so it's like a parallel universe, so some of the same things happened, but it's just slightly tilted to now being in this new universe. I think that's really interesting. It still maintains the heart and the humor of the original Peacemaker Season 1, and I think that it's going to be even cooler because, you know, we have the context of now, so again, some of the stuff that happened. I think Amanda Waller is not obviously the face of Argus anymore, and it's now Rick Flag Sr. after seemingly the events of Creature Commandos. So I think that's cool that we're kind of getting him now here, as Greg said a bit ago. I don't know if that was in the video or off camera, but the fact that he said his hair seems to be dyed, which is just kind of funny. And yeah, I love the fact that we got characters like Hawkgirl and Green Lantern in this. That's a freaking cool little addition there, and also Maxwell Lord. And it seems obviously because this comes out this year, Superman comes out. No, this comes out after Superman.
After Superman, yeah.
Yeah.
It almost
I
feels
think that's cool.
Yeah, it almost feels like that scene would be like at the end of the show or something. But
I hope that's not the intro. Maybe it is the intro because they'll put it up top to get people intrigued. But yeah,
man, what did you think? See, G,
I thought it was. I would agree with everything that Aaron said. It makes your mind theorize, and I wonder if there might be actually an inverse of what this trailer is doing. Of maybe that is at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But that thing with the multiverse at the end is closer to the beginning of the show.
Oh,
I can see
And then I
that,
feel like that would
yeah.
actually make some of this make a little bit more sense. I'm not sure. I loved Creature Commandos. It's one of
That's a
those
lot of
rare
fun.
shows where I find myself randomly thinking about it a couple of times a week. And I'm very excited for Frank Grillo to really have a comic book character that can actually really shine, unlike what ended up happening with him in the MCU. He was great in Creature Commandos. I love the idea that he's here looking for, because so much of Rick Flag Jr.'s death was a thing that haunted Peacemaker in the first season, and now he's got even more to contend with now. And we know that Frank Grillo is supposed to be in Superman as well, and all these other characters too at the top are also supposed to be in Superman. So it could very well be like a mislead in some way, because one version of this would have one think. I can imagine it being this too, is that one version of this could be that the first that chunk with the three characters that could still take place before Superman, and it's messing with the timeline a little bit, like not the whole season, but that scene could take place.
Yeah.
So yeah, but what's exciting about it is, unlike Creature Commandos, which was already pretty much done before James Gunn was brought on, he was making this show while he was already brought on to be the head of DC Studios. So this was his opportunity to actually start weaving it into the larger part of the DC universe. And John Cena, people love him in this role, and this was a surprise show for a lot of people, as great as it is. And it looks like it's doing the best of both worlds. It looks like it's giving us a continuation of Peacemaker, a continuation of all the things and motifs that we love and the hard R of it, while also being part of something that's a part of the larger universe now. So it's doing both of the things, so it's making it feel like still significant. Not the effect of like when Aquaman came out and the second one, and people were like, do we need to watch this? This looks like a waste of time. Or like when New Mutants came out. Like, do we need to watch this? Looks like a waste of time. You know, it doesn't have that. It looks like essential viewing. So,
Yeah.
but what's your thoughts, John?
I really enjoyed this too, and I agree with everything you guys have said pretty much. I got a lot of appreciation for the fact that this reminded me of how much I enjoyed the ensemble of season 1 and the surprise that journey presented, along with having hints at how this fits into the DCU, but for my taste, not too many, even though that's like a substantial moment where, yeah, it's Hawkgirl and Max Lord and Guy Gardner and all that stuff, and it's made to make you go, oh my God. But, you know, I like that this still somehow really drew me most into the immediate situation with Peacemaker, and actually makes me want to go check out Creature Commandos now, because like I like the idea without that context that the first season would have so much to do with the sins of the father that have trickled down to the son. Now it's the wrath of the father, who's the man that I kind of wish I could be, coming to collect on me. I think is a really nice sort of yin and yang thematically speaking. It's these like big core father figure traumas that he has to contend with. Plus, it just looks, you know, fun and imaginative. Gotta love Eagly and Vigilante and the rest of the team. That whole thing about the toxic masculinity was pretty funny. Like that switcheroo, and for a character who is as gruff and sort of rough and tumble as she can be, I thought that was just like a nice, like, again, I think James Gunn is good at zigging when you are expecting a zag, but still making it really fun. And yeah, this looks like it'll have enough of the, you know, grounded quality, if you can call it that, of the first season, with just enough of that more fantastical quality to segue into the DCU. This got me really excited.
What's James Gunn's wife's name again?
I'm trying to call it to memory right now.
Because
I should know this.
Our introduction for her was Peacemaker season 1.
Yeah.
And we watched most of that not knowing that she was even dating James Gunn.
Yeah.
You know, we had no awareness of that, but we were so impressed by her. And I feel, actually, yeah, do you mind looking up her name?
I think Jennifer Holland from
That's
right?
it. That is
There
it.
you
Yeah.
go, Jennifer Holland.
Jennifer Holland.
Go with the
I want
saber.
to show respect, because she's more than just James Gunn's wife. And Jennifer Holland was so good in that. And it seems like after, you know, their relationship being so public, it seems like anytime her face shows up in anything that's in the DC universe or under James Gunn's in Guardians 3, people are like, it's so distracting. And the people like roll their eyes at her, and they translate whatever animosity they have towards James Gunn towards her. But I think when you see this trailer, it just reminds you, like, nah, she's like an actual talented actress that is not only here because she's James Gunn's significant other. She's brilliant in the role.
Yeah.
Well, and she looks like she may, at least as of this trailer, she got the most sort of bone-crunching little action beats
Definitely.
and stuff like that, which made me excited to see her kick some ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, again, that's such a charming mislead, that whole, like, what, me, toxic masculinity? And then cut to, like, she's the one pounding the most ass in this trailer, which is just funny.
Sweet.
Absolutely. Gang, what'd you think of the Peacemaker Season 2 trailer? Are you excited? And segue.
Reject Nation, summer's coming up fast, which means we got beach days, hikes, maybe 1 or 2 outdoor shoots lined up, maybe. And if there's one thing I've learned while getting in shape this year, it's that hydration makes a huge difference. Back at the end of January, I weighed 218 pounds. And as of the last time I weighed myself, I am 179 now. 6-pack Greg coming in. I need it for the summer. But in all seriousness, Liquid IV, and these are bags I bought. They didn't send it. I bought them myself. Liquid IV has been a constant in my life. I take one at least once a day. The one I mainly take is their sugar-free hydration multiplier, especially their raspberry lemonade, my favorite. It's real simple. You just tear it open, pour it into 16 ounces of water. You can either shake it, mix it, you're good to go. Sometimes I mix it with my protein shake to give my protein shake a little bit extra flavor. I especially use it after cardio or during long work days, and even on rest days when I want to stay sharp. It's just a great pick-me-up. It feels so good. And Liquid IV, one of the advantages that they have 3 times the electrolytes than your leading sports drink, plus 8 essential vitamins and minerals, and it's powered by LIV Hydra Science, which basically helps your body absorb everything fast. It's vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, and seriously, no artificial junk. So if you're gearing up for a better summer, looking for a good midday pick-me-up, you know hydration's important, the multitude of reasons to support your body and also to support the channel, Liquid IV actually helps. So you can go to liquidiv.com and use code REJECTS to get 20% off your first order. That's liquidiv.com, code REJECTS. Thank you again, Liquid IV, for partnering up with us yet again. Love you so much. The Warrens. Oh.
Don't touch anything.
Oh, I missed this room.
Yes.
Everything you see in here is either
The
haunted
Crooked Man.
R.I.P. Crooked Man spinoff.
The nun, I've seen her.
or been using some sort of ritualistic practice.
There's Annabelle. There she is.
Let's go. Let's go.
Not even the toys.
Don't bring anybody in there.
How many cases you guys had?
Cases.
Ooh, God, Vera Farmiga is so good.
Warren, here with my wife Lorraine.
Maybe 1,000.
Wow.
Woof. True.
Every case is different.
Oh, the hell's that?
Every family's different. Once we start, there's no going back.
That dog's creepy as hell. Nope.
Anything can happen.
Oh,
Bleh,
no.
bleh, bleh.
The sound design on that. Oh, no.
Ooh, floating.
Oh, no. No.
Dolly got the dead eyes.
A giant family again. Wow, yeah, this is harkening back to the first movie.
Wow.
Look at this broadcast.
Gonna do it on live TV. Wow.
This is freaky. Nope. Oh, that guy's face. I don't like it.
Look like Marilyn Manson.
Damn, who directed this one? Oh my God, it's a funhouse of horrors.
Wow.
The silence, so creepy. Oh,
Damn.
call back to The Shining.
Yeah, even the text is from the first movie.
Their last case.
Hell no. Nope.
Ugh.
Nope, nope, nope.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah. Conjuring Last Rites. All right, all right. So you have not seen the movies.
I have not seen a single Conjuring, no.
Does this make you want to catch up on the franchise?
It definitely does, but I'm also scared I'm going to pee myself. That looks
If
really
we could
cool.
get that for the thumbnail.
Please, yeah, just a yellow in front of me. But no, I honestly thought this was really great. The tension here was really palpable. I think it's funny not knowing the Conjuring movies, but being aware of the cultural osmosis of the Conjuring, seeing things like The Nun, seeing things like Annabelle. I'm like, oh, I recognize those things from all the posters I've seen, and knowing that this is like the nucleus point of where those other franchises spun off. I think it's interesting because I recognize those things as being part of this, but I also don't feel like I missed out. I feel like the trailer in and of itself did a good job of being something that is allotted for people who have not seen this franchise to still be invited into it and be just as scared, even if you were familiar with the fact that these people had done all these other cases. And the only thing I knew about this movie is I saw like a couple days ago, because I just taken movie news, is that this is based on one of their most famous cases that they've taken on. So I think it's interesting that they made the last movie based off of one of their most big things that they had in their career. And it made me interested to know more about the real life people and just to watch the other movies. So yeah, this really worked for me, and I'm excited whether I watch it one day. But yeah. It was good. Successful trailer.
Hells yeah. Last Rites. G, what'd you think? Did you find the director?
Yeah, it's Michael Chaves who did The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the third one, and
Curse
he
of
did
La Llorona.
Curse of La Llorona is where he started, and he also made The Nun 2. So he's like the franchise's biggest director. He's directed more than James Wan now.
He's like the Gary Doberman of the directing side
David
of this.
Yates of this, yeah. And I like the trailer quite a bit. We weren't big. I remember not being big fans of the third one.
Not
we
as
reacted to
much.
that one, yeah. And I haven't. The only one I haven't seen still is the Nun 2. That's the only one I haven't seen yet. But I've heard that one is a massive upgrade from the first one. As it was like the common rhetoric is like, this one is surprisingly really good. And there's a reason why I think James Wan wants this guy to be like the director for the franchise, because he knows how to pull it off. And this looks like a medley of all the Conjuring movies, perhaps enhancing the ones that are not the direct Conjuring line, but going back to like a bigger family and very much wrapping up the situation with Lorraine Warren as well, because she's the one who's constantly in tune with the paranormal and being haunted by all this stuff. So yeah, it looks like a big one. It looks big, and that they're gonna go out with a bang, and that everything's gonna come to life at a certain point. It does feel like a cinematic universe culmination effect, which doesn't look like the ending of the Conjuring franchise. It just looks like the ending of this main one.
Yeah, they said they'll keep making spin-offs, I think.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the Conjuring universe, is that it is the only real successful adjacent running universe, right, outside of the MCU.
It does feel like that, yeah, because you have the mainline title, and then you have the other sort of auxiliary ghosts and demons that factor in, and then sometimes cross over with the mainline title.
It's just the Nun and Annabelle, right? Those are the only two spinoffs.
And Curse of La Llorona. There was supposed to be a Crooked Man spinoff. You saw him on the little whirly children's toy in there.
And James Wan made Insidious and Conjuring, right? But they're not connected?
No, they're not connected. And yeah, like this, is a good example of how the Conjuring movies go for a more greater sense of drama, whereas the Insidious movies are more of like a horror, jump scare, funhouse kind of thing. They're a little more wild and intense, whereas the Conjurings do get wild, but I think they're predicated on more like period piece restraint drama. I am curious as to how this plays out, because there's a lot of appealing imagery in here, and there's a lot of stuff that looked really striking, especially as you get into that end montage after the blood fills up the sink, and then you're looking at all these super tight shots of just different sinister looking things. I liked the first Conjuring. I liked the second one a lot. I thought the third one was all right. And the fourth one now, I'm rooting for them. This does have, I think, some of that, Conjuring 1, 2, sort of big family potential for drama, bonding between the Warrens and whoever the subjects are. That's part of the bread and butter of these, as much as the scares are. So I'm always interested in that stuff. I didn't really get a great sense for what the case is. And I think they do have a certain amount in this trailer of short YouTube horror movie face. Just a lot of the ghosts have that it's the big creepy black mouth smile, which does work. I'm not going to say it never works on me and I never enjoy that, but it is to me kind of getting to this point where I am wondering how much the lines will blur on a movie like this between something that feels like Insidious versus something that feels like The Conjuring.
That
That
old lady
said-
face was haunting though. Behind her, like the little doll. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's freaky.
Creepy as hell.
That's freaky. It is bread and butter of this franchise. That is like the kind of stuff I associate with this. So I'm curious as to if anything will feel new inside of that. But this looked like a solid Conjuring, and it's definitely got my curiosity.
Cool.
So we got one more in us, gang. Are you excited for The Conjuring Last Rites? And what's another spinoff you'd like to see or a sequel you'd like to see to one of their spinoffs? Leave it below, and let's go take a long walk. I know nothing about this. Ooh.
I'm Ray Garrity. You can call me Ray. Prima Grease.
Hank
Olsen's the name.
Yeah, it's from Alien Romulus guy.
Yeah.
I ain't many got a belt like me. I'm the last of my kind.
Love this kind of music.
Whoa.
We did the very first long walk years ago to inspire everyday people.
Smile, boys. You're on candid camera. Man, you gotta not think about the things out of your control. Think about your plan.
Are they like
Personally, I can't stop
ROTC?
thinking about all that money.
You'll never find another like me.
Feels like inspirational.
I can't tell if.
Warning.
Oh,
Just
what?
keep walking. That's right. Just keep walking. That's it, kid. That's it.
Can't tell if
What?
this is
Oh, he's giving
original
him a
or-
down, isn't he?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, 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 no.
Not.
Oh!
Ah!
Oh! What?
You gotta keep
Takes
walking.
heavy sack to sign up for this contest.
Why?
Okay.
I'm not gonna go through the
Okay.
whole rule book, but it boils down to this.
Is that Mark Hamill's voice?
If you fall below the speed of 3 miles per hour,
Sounds
you
like
get
it.
your ticket.
Can't believe they show that in the trailer.
I love that Rance Lawrence is doing something
Walk.
different.
Yeah.
It looks like Mark Hamill.
That was
Until
Mark
there's only one of you left.
Wow.
Who's ready to win?
They cut out a
They
word.
cut out a word.
Why would you
Yeah.
agree to
a while to
this?
realize the truth of this.
Oh, yeah, poor kid.
This is walk or die.
Walk or die.
You walk as long as you can. But sometimes the body won't listen.
Ooh.
For some, your heart will stop.
Oh, God. It was
For others, your brain. And the blood will flow suddenly.
Look at the team's being whittled down.
Yeah.
There's one winner
Oh. Oh.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
and no finish line.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
No, 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 no.
Oh, I love that concept. I love that concept.
That is quite a concept. Oh my God. How do you feel right now after this bit of intensity?
I loved it. I think that I didn't know anything about it. I knew it was a Stephen King thing, so I was prepared for something a little bit more horror. But I like the idea of the physical condition because all of us, not all of us, but most of us walk. Most of us know walk. And it sounds like an easy prospect. You just walk. But conditions of normal wear and tear are likely to kick in of whether heat exhaustion or cold exhaustion. You want to take a seat. You want to rest. Your feet start to hurt after a while. I like the idea of these guys engaging in this activity that anybody does, that everybody feels like they can probably pull off. Think of those like contests when they're like, keep your hand on this car, and the one who and the last one to move, take the hand off is the one who wins the car. It's one of those where it seems like anybody can pull it off but there's these physical parameters that occur that you would not anticipate or consider. So when you're watching stuff here that's like icky and gory, it's like so simple, like bloody feet or twisted ankle and got to keep moving. A lot of us can feel those things, and it doesn't feel like excessive. Maybe it gets excessive in the experience, but I like how they've sold us of a pitch of this never-ending road circumstance, and what is the end in sight here? And I love that Mark Hamill gets to be the center of attention with like a villainous voice. Something tells me there's like after the 28 years later trailer that there's going to get more trailers that are like this. That this feels like it took a tiny bit of inspiration from that. with like the kind of like chanting and the rhythmic editing and stuff.
Sure.
Especially because that trailer in itself is already like a masterpiece to people. But I thought that was a really great trailer. Aaron's gone first the last couple of times. John, what do you think?
I enjoyed the trailer as well. I mean, this was the most, I had no idea. I knew zero things, even that this was a Stephen King. And so I liked the kind of interplay of this between the immediacy of what they're actually showing you and the fact that, like it does draw you in with this sort of like, oh, this almost looks like it's inspiring. Like, we're all doing this walk. We're doing some kind of demonstration. Pretty soon it turns sinister. And then, you're kind of locked into the frenzy of like, man, what if I just had to keep walking and walking and walking? And then the psychological onset of like these tanks and these soldiers and, anybody else who I might be coming by. And that whole thing about like, maybe it's your heart that gives out. Maybe it's your feet. Maybe it's your brain, all those intimate details then kind of bounced off of like, what is the world that begets this situation? And I feel like part of the fun of any Stephen King, especially ones like this that have like a central motif or like a hook that's a little different than your traditional horror story or something like that. Like is one of those where I could easily see like, that's a Stephen King, but at the outset I wouldn't have guessed unless you told me. Whereas some stuff you're like, this feels very Stephen King.
Sure.
And so like having I think Mark Hamill in a villainous turn, which seems like it's going to happen more now. I feel like we were watching something else recently, a trailer for an ad for something that had Mark Hamill in a heavy sort of elder role.
He plays a lot of villains and other things.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know, like I feel like I'm seeing his face again more lately, which is just neat. And it looks like the ensemble they've gathered is strong. And I thought the way they cut this trailer to illustrate the fact that obviously the numbers will dwindle, but they didn't, to my eye, here seem to give too much of who the main people we're seeing, who's going to die where, when. Like I didn't... You probably could go piece things together from this trailer, but I didn't feel overly like that was happening here. So it got me with the hook, got me with the ensemble, and it got me with just like the nasty sweatiness of it. Mm-hmm. So definitely, the most like very gripping of all these three trailers. I was like, most excited about just to kind of re-enter Peacemaker. Conjuring, very curious, and this one is the most sort of like grabby of all of them.
Sure.
I'm like, damn, guts to check that out. Arun.
Johnald. I agree with both of what you guys have been saying. I think that this trailer did a really good job of showcasing the premise without giving too much away, because obviously this is a Hunger Games-esque survival of the fittest type of contest. And when you have a trailer where it's that kind of straightforward, seemingly, you run the risk of spoiling a lot of things in the trailer. And I think the way it was edited did a really good job of hiding who the survivors are while also showcasing the stakes of what they have to go through. I don't know a wealth of Stephen King's work. I didn't really grow up reading Stephen King, but I have seen at least the It Part 1 and Part 2. And I know obviously he has a much wider, array of books and novels that he's written, but this to me felt a lot more grounded than I'm accustomed to associating with Stephen King, and watching something like this really showcase like, oh wow, this is scary. Something that's on paper doesn't seem like it could be terrifying really is a test of the human spirit, whether it is your physical, your mental, all these other external factors that kind of contribute into this. And also it seems like the talent on display seems really strong. The guy from Licorice Pizza seems really great. The guy from Alien Romulus, love that guy's performances. And also Mark Hamill. He seems like he's going to be a great villain. And it just makes me curious, like, about the overall premise of it. Like, why would anybody be willing to do this? Why would somebody, knowing that they are going to die if they don't go through with this, be a part of this? Or is this some kind of, punishment that they have to go through that they really didn't have a choice in? I don't know. It leaves me with a lot of questions, a lot of curiosity. And I think the way it's directed really heightens that premise. Like, and I'm surprised that they're able to show certain things that they showed, like the guy getting shot, showing the ankle, the walking on the ankle and the foot. I was like, oh, that's just so disgusting, but very effective. And I am just curious, and I don't want to say optimistic, but I'm definitely curious and intrigued by the outcome of this movie. Is it pretty straightforward? Do they just have to walk? Is there a way around it? Is there a way where they get back on the people putting them in these situations? I don't know. I didn't read the book, but I'm excited to see what the movie has to offer and see how it's executed.
It's about the journey. It's about the friends we made along the way. Gang, which trailer did you enjoy the most out of these three? Do you think you could survive the walk? Leave it all down below in the comments, and we'll catch you for the next trailer-thon whenever that comes around. Be well, people.
Deuces.